Hey guys, we're live. Welcome to today's live stream on Sunday, January the 10th at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Dads Wanted in Ukraine is today's title. Hello, everyone. Yes, Lee, we are a go today. Apologize for the postponement of this much anticipated live stream because it is my story. I get to share with you, my story of wanting to be a dad and it being my lifelong dream, but it just wasn't in the cards. I don't know why. God knows better than me. But I want to share from the heart with you in today's live stream. And please nail me with all your toughest questions. Let's go deep. You can't ask me any question that I'm not totally comfortable to answer. Okay. You're going to hear my personal story of dating in Ukraine, no holds barred. I promise you that. My focus is on my fuck ups because I got it wrong a lot more than I got it right. That's the truth of it. And I believe that in sharing with you my mistakes, that's going to help you, shortcut your path to success. Sharing my mistakes rather than my victories. Studly all that. No, I'm just your average Joe. I made my mistakes along the way. So we're going to focus on that. Now, let me come out of the gate promising that if you're a mgtow guy, then this video, well, it's going to be like swallowing the red pill from Matrix because you're about to learn an unsettling, potentially life-changing truth. So if you want to remain a mgtower, this is your last chance. Be forewarned that if you watch this video now, you'll no longer be able to remain content being ignorant. Okay, fair warning. We're going to get into mgtow, their strategy, and how Ukraine is a game changer for mgtowers. And it's my fervent heart's desire then, rather than coming down on them, I get it. I get the feminism the West has become, or as some people call them, the feminazis have overtaken us. But Ukraine is a different land. It's the land of milk and honey, as I refer to it. So now let me speak to a very different group of men and ask you guys, are you maybe like I was, 50, when I first came to Ukraine? And maybe you have a deep burning question that really nobody has been able to answer for you. That's what we're going to get into in this live stream. Maybe you ask yourself, am I over the hill? Or is Ukraine still an option for me? While it's too late back home for me, you might be asking yourself, is it too late in Ukraine? Or is that window of opportunity, still open for me in Ukraine? Maybe it's shutting back home. It's closed if you're 50 plus to be a dad, right? For all intents and purposes. Let's be straight up about it. Maybe you ask yourself, what do Ukrainian women think of having a family with a 50-plus-year-old man? Do you really know? Have you gotten an honest answer on that question? Tough to get an honest answer on that question. You're going to get an honest answer on that question from many women. And then you might ask yourself, what do Ukrainian women think of starting a new family with a 50-year-old man? A much different question, right? A new family, your baby, right? What is, you might be asking yourself, my real window of opportunity to become a dad in Ukraine? Like, at what age does the window completely close? We're going to talk about that in this live stream. What age of Ukrainian women should you date if this is your goal, right? Is it better to date single moms or not? Should you date city girls or country girls? These are some of the main questions that we're going to dive into in this live stream. And I'm going to give it to you from my experience. This isn't theory. There's no textbook here. This is my life. And you can see my result. I think you guys know my result. So now, where can you get such good advice on such a sensitive niche topic? Warren Buffett quote comes to mind. Wall Street is the only place that people drive to in their Rolls Royce to take advice from people who ride the subway. I love that quote. Because why? What's the meaning behind it? It's that people usually get bad advice because they take it from unqualified people, right? If it's financial advice, you want to only take it from those who have a big ass bank account, right? Not from broke people, right? So, you should ask me, Joe, what qualifies you to give advice on this rather tricky topic? Great question. You should always ask before listening to anyone's advice, especially in today's what I call online garbage information era. Because information, it's not a commodity anymore, right? It's a dime a dozen. And look at this age of misinformation we're living in right now that has probably created most of this muck that we're in right now. Well, let me ask you, do you believe that no matter what the topic is in life, there's an easy way and there's a hard way? Do you guys believe that? And which way do you think I took? Well, some would say I did it the easy way, and yet others would say I did it the hard way. You decide after hearing my story today, okay? So today I'll share with you my personal story of dating in Ukraine to find a beautiful Ukrainian wife and start my family at the ripe old age of 50. When I first came to Ukraine, I was 50. Now I'm 56. So today you'll hear all of my story, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Let me start by inspiring you, okay? To dream, to dream what is possible for you, okay? To share in the dream. Because at the end of the day, our dream is where our power comes from. Our belief, our dream in what's possible. So let's take a minute or two of dreaming. And I think you enjoy this little personal video, and we'll be right back to continue.
best father in the world.
Who wants to pray? Okay. Okay, давай.
Я буду молиться по подаркам. Ну, подарки ступили. Хочу, спасибо большое, Фэнни. И чтоб, типа, фильм принесли подарки мне. Дед Мороз, чтоб я обязал. Ну, чтоб никогда сестру не обижала. Очень люблю я маму, всех люблю родителей.
Моя сумочка.
Спасибо за то, что такая вкусная еда.
Аминь?
Аминь.
Да? Аминь?
Аминь.
Ни?
Аминь.
Аминь?
Аминь. Аминь.
Аминь? Да?
Это еще не аминь.
No, not аминь. Подожди. Wait.
Wait. Хорошо, давай.
Мгм.
Быстро, пожалуйста.
Чтоб я не пищевала в кровать. Аминь. Аминь.
Аминь!
But I don't make pee in the bed. Аминь.
Happy birthday, baby. I pray that I don't pee in bed. Oh, what did you guys think of that? You know, when I watched that, it just, my wife Anna made that compilation as a gift for me over the holidays here. And I thought I would share that with you because like I say, I really want to inspire you guys that have the same dream as me. That's what this video is for. It's for you guys that have always wanted to be a father. Maybe you're already a father, or maybe you're not a father and you want to be a father again. You want to be a dad again. I want to inspire you to know it's possible. At the same time, I don't want to give hope to those guys that it's really not possible. That window is pretty much shut. For example, I just give clients the straight up truth. Whether I see it's possible for them based on their criteria, what they're telling me, what they look like, what their life is like, or not possible. I tell it straight up. I almost got slugged on Creshatic Street by an American doctor of some sorts. He was a surgeon, I think a cardiac surgeon. And he almost belted me when I said to him, sorry, man, you're 60, I think it was 64. And just, you look at all who he is, what he is. I just really didn't see it in the cards for him. I mean, short, barring a miracle. Okay, so that's where we're going in today's live stream. I'm not scripted here. I'm just going to tell you what my journey looked like. I have thought of the top 7 tips or the golden tips I have for you, and also some of my biggest mistakes I'm going to share with you, because these tips and these mistakes that I made, they are not intuitive. I don't know. They weren't intuitive for me. And if you do these mistakes, you're really going to sabotage your success, or you're going to, it's going to just take you longer, like it did for me. My journey here took me, I arrived in Ukraine on July 31st, 2016, to go to a wedding on August the 8th, 2016. It was my best friend's wife's sister got married in Sumy. And that's why I ended up in Sumy and lived in Sumy for about 2 years. I never did the PPL thing. I just came here. I got scammed here. All right. So I can relate to your guys' scam stories. Please, feel free. Thanks, Lee. Thanks. Feel free to ask your questions as we go. I'll try to answer as we go. Please, let's make this interactive and dynamic as possible. Okay. I'm going to put up my my rules that I learned in the trenches along the way. Okay. The golden rule, as I call it, number 1, do not settle. Okay, do not settle. I learned that rule the hard way of life. In Ukraine, you have plethora of choice. So you're not forced to settle like you are back home. Back home, we're pretty much forced to settle because there's just, what's to choose from, right? You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Um, Telling a man to lower his expectations is like telling a lion to go on a vegan diet. And if you settle, okay, the relationship is doomed to fail. Only men can understand men. Women just don't get this. Now, does that mean that every man can have T-bone steak every night of the week? You get my analogy, guys. There is still reality and fantasy land. So while men are men and we're hunters and we need to conquer, well, at a certain point, we can't catch the gazelle anymore, right? So we have to balance us being a lion with understanding our parameters of success and failure, right? Um, okay, so um, yeah, about my journey in Ukraine. I arrived. I went to the wedding. I kind of had a crush at the wedding. I was 50 at the time. Um, and by the way, I have my wife's blessing to say anything and everything straight up, raw and real. Talk about my relationships, my failures, which is generally taboo. You don't do this with Ukrainian women. But as you can see, I married a unicorn with my wife, Anna. And we have a very open, honest relationship, open in the good sense. Okay. Um, Hey, Gregory, hello. Um, I like it, Lee. Believe in miracles, then expect a miracle. Absolutely. 100%. 100%. Because your mindset is your power. Your belief in yourself is where you get your juice, your power from, right? To a large part, anyway. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to have to condense this because this is a 4-year journey, right? It took me 4 years to essentially find and marry my wife, Anna. I had about a half a dozen serious relationships along the way. The first main relationship, well, let me backpedal and say my first heart scam, if you will, was I was in a relationship from Masumi, and or at least I thought I was. And I did a video, it's on the channel about this. And I basically found out later that she flew off. She said she was going to Germany to be a nanny for a wealthy family. I found out later she was in Tel Aviv and she was engaged to be married. I think they eventually got married, but I found out the hard way. And I learned, from that relationship, a lot of lessons. Each relationship was a lot of lessons, you know. I played around with age gap. I'll be honest with you guys. That's why I say I'm not saying I'm as white as the driven snow. No, I made my mistakes. I took my punishment. I learned my lessons the hard way. So yeah, I had a relationship right down to a 28-year age gap. Yeah, and that was a long-term relationship, and I thought we were both going towards the same thing. But I ultimately learned the lesson that most of you guys will learn if you go with too big of an age gap. It just doesn't work. Certainly doesn't work long term. It might work for a little bit short term. I call it catch and release fishing. So you got to know when you come, if you're looking for catch and release, and there's a lot of guys coming here wanting catch and release. I'm in a men's forum on Viber with about 70 guys, and they're almost all catch and release. But they think the way they talk in there, they're looking for a wife, but their actions are all catch and release. So, guys, you can't suck and blow at the same time, right? You got to know what you want. So that relationship imploded. Next relationship was with a lady in Sumi. She was a good girl. Listen, I want to say that my relationships, long-term relationships with half a dozen ladies in Ukraine, they were all good people, good women, traditional Ukrainian women that were good people, really good people. I don't have anything bad to say about them. Uh, were there challenges in the relationship? Yeah, of course. I mean, I didn't end up with them. I want to say this though, as Anna and I said yesterday in our live stream, Garth Brooks' song "Unanswered Prayers" is the story of my life. Because a number of times in my life I prayed to God, make this woman mine. I I love her. I want to have a future and a family with her. But he had a different plan for me. I just didn't know it at the time. So that's what Garth sings about with unanswered prayers. God knows better. If you're a believing man, believe that your higher power has a plan for you, has a plan for your life. And try to embrace that you don't know what it is, and just, enjoy the journey and try to be wise on the journey. And I'm going to hopefully give you some tips and some, um, lessons, to help you be wise along the way. Good morning, Paul from California. Jean Francis, good morning to you, sir. What if it isn't possible, if our expectations are too high? Well, it's a great question. Of course, John Francis, I know your story intimately. And I mean, I left you this message this morning personally. You can't tame a lion. A lion is not going to accept a vegan diet, right? Isn't that what I said in my voicemail this morning? So, but yet, what about the guy that just about TKO'd me or, belted me on Krishatic when I told him, listen, 64 years of age and you want to have your own kids. And I'm looking at him, and and he's a doctor. Yeah, that was the other thing. He's a doctor. So he wants to have children. He knows that after the age of 30, there can be more complications. Genetic issues can come up. If you've looked at the, birth defects and genetic defects chart and stats of women after the age of 30, it starts really going up. And after 35, it goes up like this. So he wanted her to be in her late 20s and he's 64. Well, guys, you would agree with me that, I was giving him good advice, telling him, listen, that window is closed for you. So you see what I mean? One has to know their own limitations. John Francis is now talking about the physical attractiveness. I know your question, John Francis. So what if, hey, listen, if we were in the pub right now having a pint, let's talk as men. Guys say to me, listen, Joe, she doesn't do it for me. I don't get a woody. I'm not excited. She doesn't turn me on, right? What can I do? Listen, women are never going to be able to talk to you like this. But that's a deal breaker. If she doesn't do it for you, if she doesn't turn your crank, if you can't get it up, with her, that's a showstopper. Every man, every person with a dick knows that, right? So you got to make a decision, right? And you got to just keep looking. Like I said, what was my rule? I don't know if you were on, Jen Francis. If you were on, a moment ago, I said my golden rule number 1 is don't settle. If you don't get a woody with her, you're settling. Next, right? It's got to be next. So, and if you run out of women to date, you've just got to find another source. Okay. There's always a way. There's millions of beautiful women. There's millions of fish in this amazing sea in Ukraine. So you've got to find another way. There are ways, right? Street pickup. I'm a huge proponent of that, guys, because you see what you want. You see what turns you on, right? It's every man's number one requirement is to be turned on. The truth is, if we don't want to, we don't want to beep her, we don't want to get to know her. Okay, that's the reality of men. Like it or not, ladies, that's the way we're built. God designed us that way. What can we do? So, Jean-Francis, I hope that answers your question. Okay, let me throw this up by Lee. Women can detox their bodies before pregnancy and still have healthy babies. Okay, Lee, let's leave that one out. I disagree. Is it possible? But I'm an engineer. I look at the stats. So the stats don't agree with you. Anyway, that's not the point here. So yeah. Let's see. Mick Jagger. Yeah, well, we're not Mick Jagger, are we there, N? Okay. So I will share this first relationship story from Sumi because I think there's some key lessons that you guys can take away. I have it written down in here somewhere. It's my mistakes. Okay, so my 3 big mistakes. This is mistake number 3. The 3-date sleep with her rule, it's wrong if you're looking for a wife. If you're looking for catch and release, then whatever, right? But I'm talking about looking for a wife, of course. This is Dad's wanted video, right? So this is serious stuff. That rule is wrong if you're looking for a wife. You actually don't want her to sleep with you. You don't want to marry a promiscuous woman that slept with, I don't know, 20, 30, 40, 50 other men, do you? No, of course you don't. We're hypocrites. Okay. Yeah, so she wouldn't hold my hand for the first month. Can you imagine? We dated for 2 or 3 dates per week for about a month before I could hold her hand. We ended up talking about the Bible. It turns out she wasn't really physically attracted to me. That's what she fessed up and told me later in the relationship. But she grew to love me because I'm a fellow Christian man. I'm a God-fearing man. And she found it really fascinating that we connected on the spiritual level so well. We talked about the Bible, different verses, what it meant to her, what it meant to me. What did marriage and commitment mean? She actually had a fear of getting married. She was never married. She had a daughter that was at the time 6 years old. And so, yeah, that was an issue. She was afraid to get married. And we'll talk about fears a little later on, right? Because, fears, what do they do to our life? They do this, right? They box us in. They make us live a shallow life. They deny us of what we really desire and deserve in this life. That's what fears do for us. I like the acronym for fear. Future event appearing real. It's, when we're afraid of something, it's something that hasn't even happened yet. It's just in our imagination. So we really got to be careful to let our fears run our life. So she had a daughter, 6 years old. One of the reasons we broke up is I couldn't make a connection with that daughter. I tried and tried and tried all kinds of things, you name it. I tried. And I couldn't make a connection with the daughter. And that's not the reason we broke up. Everything is compounding, right? The other thing was love languages. Okay, one of the biggest reasons, I would say it's the reason we broke up, is love languages. It's like John Gray, author of Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. He says, that the love language analogy he uses is like if my love language is tomato soup, and the girls, my girls is chicken noodle soup. She gives me chicken noodle soup because she's like, I love you. Here's chicken noodle soup. But my love language is tomato soup. I only feel loved when someone gives me tomato soup. Well, you keep giving the other person something that they don't perceive as love, and it's a total disconnect. For example, my primary love language is touch, and she wanted nothing to do with touch, no interest in holding hands, even walking on the beach in a romantic setting. And for me, that was painful. Um, and I think I also wasn't too great on delivering her love language, but I did work on it. But I didn't see her working on it. So I came away from that understanding that, if you don't have the primary or the secondary love language of your partner, that's going to be a really tough relationship. And I don't think it's going to make it. But if you do make it work, you have to be cognizant of delivering them love in their language of love, because that's how they feel. That's how they feel love. And you might love them, but they might not feel it. Okay. So I took away from that. And in the practicality of matchmaking for you guys, the big tip I have for you is a lot of you guys are concerned about she needs to speak English. Okay. But my tip for you is this. She doesn't need to speak English. She needs to have your primary or secondary love language. It's much more important than whether she speaks English or not. Like even no English. We have marriages like Matt and Victoria. Victoria spoke no English, but Matt met 19 ladies. She was the 19th date of his, and he just wasn't getting chemistry. He was meeting beautiful ladies. He's like, Joe, they're not turning my crank. It's just like they're lovely people and kind of like your story, Jean-Francis. But on 19, I always talk to my clients about, wow, was she the wow girl? And guys, you know what I mean? You meet her, you sit across the table, or you like, whoa, she takes your breath away. She's your wow. Well, Victoria was Matt's wow girl, and they're still happily married almost 5 years later now. So yeah. Okay, let's take some questions here. Love language is important. Yeah, it's critically important. I learned from that first main relationship, long-term relationship of mine, that I couldn't. I tried. It was just like we didn't see eye to eye, on the love language thing. And by the way, she didn't speak English hardly at all when we met, and she learned quickly. So, see, 42-year-old Canadian, never married, and what kids? And want kids. Should I marry a 20 to 25-year-old Slavic trophy wife or a 35 plus? A squeaky clean. Okay, Squeaky, we're going to get into those questions, children, no children, or I could just answer it now. Why don't I answer it now? First of all, you've got to decide what's more important for you, to be a dad or to marry a trophy wife, because generally trophy wives are not the best moms. So you gotta understand what's more important for you. Again, okay. Well, I haven't gotten to that, but know what you want. Have your list of criteria and your deal breakers and write them down. The power you can have in your mind an idea of what you want, don't want, but it doesn't have real turbocharged power until you write it down. You've heard this from lots of the gurus. Write down your goals, right? Because that's what gives them power. You're 42, 2025, it's too young, 2025. If you're 42, you might be able to get up to the late 20s, but you got to understand, in the 20s, women are highly hypergamous. That hypergamy in them, it's in overdrive, especially when they're 20. When they start hitting 30, that's the demarcation line when hypergamy kind of loses its steam. They start looking for a dad. Who's going to be the best dad? Okay, their goals change. So I think squeaky clean, you got a squeaky problem here. I see you failing with those goals that you're putting out there for me right now. Okay. I don't want her to speak English because that means she's more likely to cheat on you. Well, okay. Yeah, I mean, yes and no. I mean, uh, let's talk about some of my rules. Let's kind of go through my rules at the same time. Okay. My lessons and my rules. I just kind of mentioned that. Know what you want, write it down, right? That's my rule number 2. Have your deal breakers and stick to them. That's what I kind of just mentioned. Rule 3. Ask. Okay, well, I'll come back to this one. Because you said what's your question again? Which rule did it apply to most? Well, let's cover this one. Look for the telltale signs by asking deep probing questions. What's your relationship like with your mom and your dad? That one is one of the biggest telltale crystal balls you can peer into. And that's why when we have the soul profile videos with our ladies, which we're endeavoring to continue on, but it's just a hard task to get ladies to do a video in English and answer these 10 very deep probing psychology based questions. But yeah, by looking at the relationship with the parents, you can understand a lot. And I would urge you to study the psychology of the relationship with the mother, psychology of the relationship with the father. For the purposes of this live stream, it's too much. It would be going for hours and hours and hours if I got into that. So are the parents still married? That tells you a lot. Look at Anna's parents, still married, and they're 40. Sorry, I don't remember. 42 years, is it? Married, and they've had some major bumps along their marital journey. Okay, but they stuck together. You see, they taught Anna that the institution of marriage is sacred. It's to be highly valued. So, okay, let's see. Love language. Yeah, it's a couple compatible sexual marriage. Thank you. Okay, let's continue moving on. So, yeah, issues about being a dad. Like I said, I couldn't build a bond with my first serious relationship with the daughter. I couldn't. I tried. It was much easier with Anna's children, my daughters now, and I found that tough. So, when you're dating, do your very best to bond with the children, because if you can't form a bond, it just, it makes that relationship, which psychologists call a vicious triangle, the triangle of mother, father, and child. They call it the vicious triangle for a reason. It's tough if you can't build that bond. So be cognizant of that and start early, and also start building the relationship with the parents as soon as you can. That's my rule number 7. Yeah, meet the parents as soon as possible. Because if you cannot win over the parents, guys got to know that's a showstopper. It won't last. I'm just telling you guys, it won't last, especially in Slavic culture, that it's family-based culture. It's not like our world. Okay. If the parents don't like you, if they don't think you're good for their daughter, for whatever reason, it's not going to last. So please put all your efforts into winning over the parents. Do whatever it takes to win them over if you want to, catch their daughter. Telling you. I speak from experience on this one too. Can't get into all my stories or we'd be here all day. Okay, and I'm kind of going to go all over with the rule numbers kind of as they fit into my stories. So I don't know. Let's move on to. I'm going to just talk about not all my relationships, but I guess the major ones that could have ended in marriage. But thank God for Garth Brooks, Unanswered Prayers. God knew better. I want to say that I guess I'll say that I wouldn't change a thing. I wouldn't change my history because ultimately it led me to where I am now with the most incredible family in the world. And I pinch myself, guys. I kid you not. I pinch myself almost every morning that I'm living my dream life. I always wanted children from the age of about 20, and it just didn't happen for me. I spent the first, my 20s pursuing wealth. I won't even tell you the number, but I had a number in my mind that was a crazy big number. And that's where I wanted to build my wealth to. And I had some financial mechanisms that I figured out early enough on in life, in the real estate arena, that I believed I could attain it. And so I was just set on money, set on wealth. That was where I was going. And what we focus on expands. So I made a lot of money, but at the cost, I'm not starting my family. And anyway, my point is, I wouldn't change a thing. I learned the lessons I had in life. I embrace it all, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I embrace it all because ultimately it made me who I am today. I'm very happy with who I am today. I'm living my passion with my beautiful queen, Anna, my life partner, my wife, mother of my children, the partner in my passion, which is Match Guarantee. So I wouldn't change anything. So I'm just sharing with you this saying, embrace your journey. You've taken your lumps along the way too, but you know what? You've learned valuable lessons from it. It's making you who you are today. And hopefully you learn from them. That's all. I think that's what God wants. He wants us to learn from our costly mistakes. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. I'm just kind of sharing off the cuff now. I guess the next relationship that I'll share with you is my big age gap relationship. Okay. So what do I want to say for that? It lasted about 6 months. Oh, my first relationship, and we lived together in Sumi. It lasted a year and 3 months, and we ultimately lived together for many, many months. And, I always had marriage in my intention, with each long-term relationship. I mean, with all my dating, I was dating to find my wife and start my family. And I was open to if she had children or if she didn't have children. I dated both. Women with children, without children. So single moms, non-single moms. And remind me, please, if I don't get to talk about that, because I don't have it in my notes. So I can speak to both. If they don't have children, they're just not as serious. Okay. And it's not as easy to see their true underlying intention. That's what I found out. So I found single moms are much more serious. And they don't play games, okay, because I have a child to take care of. So I found that not as risky. Okay, so with my 6-month relationship, my big mistakes in that relationship, it's mistake number 2. I learned the hard way, never chase a girl. And that's the thing, big age gap, high SMV woman, you can lose yourself and pursue her, like chase her too hard. But you're never going to catch her. They don't want to be chased like too hard, they want you to be cool. They want you to be a strong man, which is know your path. They want to come along with you and follow you and come along for the ride. That's what Slavic women want. So yeah, don't chase them. Maybe you've learned this lesson yourself as well, guys. Paul, God must have other plans for you. Amen. He does, because you're on a journey and you're obviously not happy with where you're at. So yeah, he has other plans. The key is, to figure out what's the path, because God wants you to take action. listen, understand something. And I apologize if I'm coming across as too preachy for you guys that are non-believers. Hey, I am who I am. I'm only going to give you who I am. So I can't be something that I'm not. And I'm a man of faith. So I believe God has a plan for each and every one of us. The only question is, do we believe that? Do we realize that? Do we seek that? Okay, that's my belief. Okay, so yeah, I'm a little bit. I do have ADD, so sometimes if I'm not too scripted, I go down these tangents. John 3:16, absolutely, Eric. What is it, John? Eric? It's God loved us so much that He gave His only begotten Son, that we should not perish but have everlasting life. It's the foundation of Christianity, right? Jesus is the reason for the season, for the Christmas season, right? My daughters already know that. Before I came into the picture, they thought it was Santa, right? But now they know the reason for the season. You've seen my daughters. I always ask, who wants to pray? It's so cute. And the last 3 days, Lizenka, the little one, she's like, no. And then my bigger daughter, Arinachka, yeah, she's pretty quick too. So, and then other times I'll pray. I want them to get, I want to teach them to talk to God personally, that He hears them, and to pray for what you want. Not to be the bad for pathetic for gifts. Lizenka, 4 years old, so cute, right? Yeah, thanks, John Francis. I got to be me because everybody else is taken. Thanks, Lee. Thanks, Lee. So I'm going to try to combine my stories with your questions. Okay, guys. So I'm 64 years old. Is it a bad thing? No, it's not a death sentence, James. We've got a guy, David. Do I have his photo here? No, I don't have his photo right now, but David is 69. Okay, he came with us this summer. He's already applied for the K1. He had a great connection. I think he only met 5 or 6 ladies with us. This is the other thing, guys. When you're meeting serious marriage-minded ladies, it tends to happen fast. But in John Francis's case, not for everyone, right? For most of our guys. But, it depends how tall a bar that we have. So it's a balancing act, guys. And, it's a balancing act. But anyway, to speak to you, James, he's 69, David. His video is on my channel here. So you can see I sat down with him in our office and we talk about, his success. He couldn't make it up our stairs. So he, for example, met the ladies down in the restaurant down below because he has a hip, I think. But he met a beautiful lady. I think, what's their age gap? Don't quote me. I'm not sure exactly. I think she's 52 or something like that, but she's a very beautiful, slender 52. So yeah, no, James, it's not a death sentence, but if you're looking to be a father, I gotta say, 64 is not realistic. And I'm going to talk about age in a minute. How old is too much? Like, when is the window closed in Ukraine? At 50, back in Canada, that window's closed, baby. I mean, find me a woman that's not a prostitute, and saying that wants to have a baby with you. A serious woman, right? High quality woman, right? So, okay. Sorry about that, Paul, but you'll come out the other side, man. Been there, done that. Twice for me. Yeah, would agree if they're over 30. Well, actually, single moms are, more serious. Like, whatever age she is, even if she's 25, if she's a single mom versus not single mom, she's much more serious at 25 and single mom. And I wouldn't advise you guys to really look, below 20, 25, certainly, unless she's has a child. So, but everything does always depend, right? Everything depends on another, right? Just kind of, thank you, Paul. So, okay, lessons learned with my 28-year age gap. Yeah, I chased her. Never do that. She even told me not to, but I did it. So, lesson number one. I learned for myself that that was a catch and release. I wanted it to be a catch and keep, you understand? But like I say, I guess I was trying to suck and blow at the same time, and you can't. At the end of the day, she wasn't ready for marriage. She was never married, no kids, right? Um, and she wasn't ready for marriage, and she wasn't ready for children. And I remember what my main goal coming to Ukraine was: to be a dad. I mean, to be a husband and a dad, of course. I didn't want to just be a dad. Let me clarify that. I could if this is a good point. I could have been a dad with somebody that was 25. Yeah, I had a date with somebody that was 25, really, really beautiful single mom. Looks like Marilyn Monroe. She told me her life's purpose was to have children. So you would think maybe a good fit, right? But it wasn't. When I took her out on dates, there was no intellectual connection. There was no, I mean, we were just not connecting on the level that you need to connect to be happily married. So for me, I didn't want to just be a dad and then a single dad. You know what I mean? I didn't want to be a single dad. No, I want to have a healthy Christian family. Okay. And with Anna, it's like I said, it's my dream. It's everything that I wanted. Some people have asked the question. We live the pyramid family. God is the top. He's above me. Okay, he's my boss, if you will. I report to him. I'm accountable to him. Then there's me. Below me is Anna. You know, so Anna is accountable to me. I'm, if you will, the head of the family, the head of the household, and below Anna is the children. Okay, so it's in that way that we live our life. We live our Christian life. Um, yes, I've been in Ukraine for 5 years, to answer whoever question that was. Okay, let's see here. Leonard. Okay, if she's 30 without kids and I'm 50 with adult kids and ready for more kids, do you think it's realistic? It's a 20-year age gap. So, Leonard, the thing is, it depends. I can't give you a definitive answer. I can say it's possible. I believe it's possible. It depends what you look like, right? Depends what she looks like. If you showed me a photo of you guys together, I'd be able to nail it pretty well. I'm pretty good with photos, okay, to see what you two look like together. It's possible, but it's a tall order. A 20-year age gap, guys, it's a tall order, okay? Even, you know, for any man, it's a tall order. It depends on many things. It depends on your financial status. Because at the end of the day, you know, why is a woman going to go for a guy with a 20-year age gap? Well, part of it has to be feeling really safe and secure because you've got your financial house in order, right? And that's a pretty substantial part of it. Let's be straight up about it, guys, right? So it depends. It depends. Exactly, Eric. Exactly. I mean, yeah, God designed woman so that man would not be alone. So that's the thing when I address mgtow guys, you know, uh, be careful when you're making your own, you know, movements that's kind of against God's design, which is what mgtow is. Be careful, boys. You're working against the man upstairs. I wouldn't want to be in that position. Okay, I'm trying to balance questions with my story and not getting lost in it. So if anybody ever has a burning question and I didn't answer it, please copy paste it, and then I might see it again. So because some of them I miss, apologize in advance. I learned, yeah, that So some things she was doing that I eventually found out that she wasn't serious. Once in a while, she would go clubbing with her girlfriends. And it took me a while to understand this, that I wasn't really invited. I could come along, I could tag along, but I wasn't really invited. And then, I came to understand in time that she was still hunting. And that was a really hard pill to swallow. I didn't want to believe that, but there was a number of things that led me to believe with my spidey senses that she was clubbing because I was good enough for now, And again, that wasn't easy for the pride to swallow, but 20-year age gap is just too much. It's just too much. So I'm looking for my other rule here. Yeah. Rule number 4, shit test, shit test, shit test. How did I figure that out? That she was really shopping for somebody else, that I was good enough for now material? By shit testing. I don't know what your strategy is. There's a lot of people don't believe in shit testing. It's bad for a relationship. But listen, I'm just as ising, guys. My opinion, for what it's worth, is that shit testing tells you what a person's made of sooner than later. If you want to date somebody for 2 years or 3 years to figure out what they're made of, be my guest. I was on a time clock, right? I really knew that my life's desire, my life's biggest dream was unfulfilled, being a dad. And I will kind of add that somebody asked in the live stream, but I forgot to answer it. I don't mind to answer. Yes, Anna and I are trying for our own. I'll share that good news with you because Anna loves me. She wants my life's biggest dream and desire to come true. I've had it all in life. I really have had it all, but it didn't make me happy. Because I understand the wealth of this world doesn't make you happy. I've driven off the lot with a $150,000 sports car. It made me happy for a couple of months. I've had the $1 million houses on the lake. It didn't really make me happy because I didn't have my happy family unit to live in that house with. Okay. I'd far rather live in a shack. Really. That's what I've discovered for myself, to live in a shack. I grew up in a shack in Manitoba, right? I was almost born in a manger. My dad had to rush my mom into the hospital. Yeah. 35 kilometers to the nearest hospital because that's how far we lived out in the bush. So I'm a, Manitoba village boy, Canadian village boy. So again, that was my dream. So back to shit test. Yeah. I mean, shit testing, I believe that everybody does it in a relationship. You either do it a little or you do it a lot. Now, you don't want to push it too hard. So everything has limits, right? I think life is all about yin and yang. It's about balancing. You can do anything too much, anything. Okay, let's hit a few questions here. Donald. It's a good question, Donald. Yes, I know unequivocally that I would have gotten my Anna if I didn't have the house and the money. Okay. That's about all I want to share on that point. But yes, I unequivocally know it beyond the shadow of a doubt. My age. I'm now 56 and Anna is, and it just turned 36. So we have a 20-year, obviously, age gap. If she goes clubbing, she's not ready to settle down. But a lot of Ukrainian women love clubbing. And guys, and if you're dating them in their 20s, okay, they love clubbing and they go clubbing with their girlfriends. This was the confusing part when I was in the relationship, because Slavic women, if you've had relationships with Ukrainian or Russian women, that Ukrainian men don't go clubbing with them. It's the girls' night out. Ukrainian men don't even like to dance. So that's what she told me. And I bought into it for the longest time. And then eventually there was other little shit tests, okay, that she failed that I could see, okay, no, I'm I'm just good enough for now material. Okay. Oh, squeaky clean. I'm in the same boat. I make great money, and yet I feel empty. Refuse to buy the Mercedes and the other luxuries because I can't share it with someone. Hence, looking for a traditional European wife. Well, squeaky clean. I'm a living testament that you can find it, and I fervently believe Ukraine is the best place to find it. I mean, I guess I didn't tell you, kind of rewind. I should tell you the backstory a little bit on my history. So I've been successfully divorced twice. I first married my best friend. Okay. There was no chemistry there. So I made that big mistake, but really good Christian girl, went to Bible school. One of the hardest things I have is to get rid of the guilt in that relationship. So I learned that a lion can't settle on being a vegan. Yeah, I'm not making fun of vegans, but lions eat meat. Right? It's a metaphor. Somebody criticized me for criticizing vegans. No, I learned that you have to, as a man, you have to have that Woody factor. That chemistry has to be there, or you're settling, and you're not doing anyone a favor. If a man settles, he's not doing her a favor either. He's sabotaging everything. So then I was married to a Russian. We were met. My best friend's wife introduced me to her, and it was, happened pretty whirlwind as well. And we were married and best friends for 10 years. And then, life has its twists and turns, and that marriage didn't withstand those twists and turns. She had congenital heart problems. We couldn't have family. She couldn't have children. That was very stressful on the marriage. And it didn't last. So basically, I was divorcing. The ink wasn't dry on the paper, and I got my butt on a plane to Ukraine because I had already been married to Slavic. I knew what was Slavic wife. And I went on one date in Canada with a university professor, and she was a single mom. And I went, no, no. Because I knew what was Slavic woman. I'd been married to one for 10 years. And guys, I always say to clients when you come here, be careful. If you're coming to Ukraine one time, you're done. You're tainted for life. You cannot settle on a woman in your country, in your Western country. And ask John Francis if I'm wrong. I mean, you keep coming back for more punishment, John Francis, right? Because he can't find what he's looking for in Canada. He's seen what's here. He's experienced what he can attain in Ukraine. And you're just spoiled for life. So I came to Ukraine. I got in a plane and I came to Ukraine. As I said earlier, I went to a wedding. It was that same best friend's wife's wife that now told me to go to her sister's wedding. And the rest is history, my personal history. I'm not going to get into match guarantee and why I started match guarantee and all of that kind of. I'm trying to keep this to dads in Ukraine. Okay. So Donald's 53. Okay. When we have a purpose from this as we are. We are creating the life fulfillment will arise. Okay. Thanks, guys, for all of your active comments and questions. I think I'm going to move on from my big age gap failed relationship. We weren't in life. We weren't on the same. We didn't have the same life goals, so that's why that relationship ended. And also, I'm not 100% sure, but I think she was shopping, yeah, for something bigger and better, probably something younger and richer. I don't know. Anyway, thank you, Mervyn. I hope it's an informative live stream. my intention is that this is content you just don't find out there, because I'm I'm getting really raw with you guys. I'm telling you to the core level my fuck ups, what I did mostly wrong, because you can see what I did right. Eventually I met Anna, and wow, did I get it right. When I got it right, I got it right. But yeah, I had a lot of fuck ups along the way. So the next relationship, I think, of merit that I will really talk about, um, because yeah, it could have ended in marriage, was the relationship. The truth is, I was in an on again, off again relationship when I met Anna, and it on again, off again. You guys have been in those kind of relationships. They usually end off again, right? They usually, if it's on and off, you're breaking up every week or second week. It usually fails, right? It usually doesn't withstand the stress test, and it eventually fails. Um, I think companionship is what I would look for in an older lady. Okay, I'm not sure. Yeah, Donald, you said you're 53. Well, I don't know, Donald. Of course, companionship, but I mean, at 53, you still got some some go-go juice left in you, right? So you need more than just companionship. Am I not right? You need sexual energy, attraction. You need that chemistry. Most guys do. I mean, yeah, unless I don't know. My dad was 72 and still sharing with me his stories in the bedroom. So I know in my family, we've got some good staying power. I suppose, yeah, I know men of different ages and whatnot, they lose their sexual drive maybe earlier than others. So, you have to know for yourself what you're looking for. But the other thing is, if you're going for age gap, you got to know a woman in her 30s, she's in the prime of her life. You better be able to hang on and enjoy the ride. You know what I'm saying, right? Um, okay, here's a good question. Yes, absolutely, Manuel. I was criticized for mostly the big age gap that Anna and I have. I'm criticized by my brother. That's hard to take. That's my bro. I only have one bro left. That that hurts. It's your family. So it's one of the negatives of finding someone in Ukraine. Absolutely, and you better be able to handle that. You better come to peace with that. I know when my brother meets Anna, I mean, she has an 8-year multi-entry visa to Canada now. We're just ready to go to Canada when COVID embraced our beautiful blue planet. So I know that Anna will win them over. My brother, my sister-in-law, when she comes and meets them eventually. But yes. Okay, so Donald, answer this. What about 45 to 53 ladies? So guys, you got to be specific in your question, Donald. I don't know what your question is. It's too vague. Please be specific in your questions. Okay, do you recommend relocating to Eastern Europe? Work allows me to work remotely. Absolutely, squeaky clean. Absolutely. It's a game changer if you live here. It's literally a game changer. Everything is so much easier. Okay, you don't have to be in a rush. You have crazy plethora of choice. In fact, you have new challenges that come into play when you live here, and that is the grass is always greener. You start to get in. I know too many expats that live here, and they are now, what do you call it, red pillars. They've had so many ladies, and they know how easy it is. Like this, it's like changing your sheets. They can change their lady like they change their sheets. There's always a plethora of beautiful ladies that are much younger that are interested in them. They date them. And so that starts to become a problem. Plethora of choice starts to become a problem. But yeah, okay. How Slavic women want to move to a Western country? Well, yeah, it's a problem. Most don't want to leave Ukraine. This is one of the dichotomies that good Ukrainian women want to stay in Ukraine and is not in a big hurry to relocate to Canada. We have a great life here. I would say a better life here than in Canada. I know you guys are shocked to hear me say that, but it's the God's honest truth. We have a better life here. Yeah, I have some challenges, some social challenges. Although we're having a couple come over that live in our building, Ukrainian couple. They speak excellent English, so you can still get some social, but it's harder to meet that social requirement of a happy life, because we're social creatures. We need to have that social engagement. Okay, Squeaky. Okay, so that young guys with money are very few. Most guys who can afford the lifestyle that women want are in it for it. Yeah, yes and no, Skid Row. Yes and no. You've been to Ukraine, right? There's a lot of Porsches and Mercedes and Beamers in Kyiv and Odessa driving around. There's lots of well-off guys, Ukrainian men that are in their 20s or their 30s even. There's more than you might think. The problem for Ukrainian women is that they don't marry early enough. You see, Ukrainian women in their 20s, the truth is they don't have a problem finding Ukrainian men. And that's why if you're looking for a Ukrainian woman in her 20s, you got to be very, 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 did I say very enough? Careful, skeptical, and shit test, because she has a lot of choice of Ukrainian men, good, strong Ukrainian men that speak their language, have their culture, their mindset, and they prefer Ukrainian men. I've asked enough women on the streets. The stat that we had at Magic Guarantee asking women in Sumi was 75% would prefer to marry Ukrainian. Okay. So yeah, you've got to be very careful marrying, dating in the 20s. Yeah, you've got to really be careful for a hidden agenda. Be careful of a hidden agenda, because it's more often than not. So, back to the Ukrainian women's problem. When she doesn't get married in her 20s and she hits 30 and then 32, and she's busy in her job, and before you know it, she's 32, for example, and she's not married, all of a sudden she doesn't have choice. And that's if she's single. That's if she's not a single mom. And she's beautiful, even at 32. Not a lot of choice. Very little choice, in fact, of Ukrainian men that are wanting to court her. Okay. And if she's a single mom, I had a beautiful single mom that was Galina. We're friends today from Sumi. She's on my channel. I interviewed her back in 2016, summer of 16. And Galina, to my horror, said to me, if you have one child that's a single mom, it's really hard to find a man in Ukraine. And she was, I think, 31 at the time, maybe 32. And she hit the gym 5 days a week. I mean, she was... and a beautiful lady. And she had twin daughters, age 5. She said, if you have 2 children as a single mom, she said, it's impossible. She said, impossible. I said, Galina, really? Aren't you not overstating it? No, she says, it's impossible. I don't have hope of meeting, a man and getting remarried. I don't have hope. I said, really? Really? And we're friends because I dated her a couple of times and she didn't have chemistry for me. She was 30 or 31. I'm pretty sure. I was 50 and she didn't have chemistry for me. I had chemistry for her, but that's the other interesting thing. I didn't have much chemistry for her because chemistry is a funny thing. If it's not coming back to you, if you're not feeling a chemistry, a spark back to you, your little bit of, or your chemistry just, it's like, ooh. You know what I'm saying, guys, right? Perception is reality. Oh, no, my honey is watching me. Oi, 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 darling. You didn't have what belief, my love? You didn't have what belief? Maybe this one. Maybe, honey, you're commenting on this. Women have a biological clock. By 35, high pregnancy risk. Okay, I better not go there. Off topic. Okay, I'm being being watched. Uh yeah, this is the thing, Lee. So yeah, this is a good point. Thanks for your comment, Lee, because the truth is, if a man, okay, the title of this video is Dads Wanted in Ukraine, right? So let's get back to where the rubber meets the road. If a guy, okay, on Lee's point, sign me up, lady of 2 or 3 children. Lee, let's say 3 children. If you come to Ukraine and you're willing to date and be with and marry a woman with 3 children, there's no competition. What does that mean? That means the world, Ukraine is your oyster. You know, all of a sudden, and I shouldn't really say this, but it's true. Okay, she's got 3 children. Age gap out the window. Doesn't really matter so much anymore. Okay, it still matters, but all of a sudden you've got a lot more wiggle room. All of a sudden, you know, looking at your picture, Lee, you might be able to pull off a 25 plus year age gap. Listen, this is the truth of it, guys. I know an expat that lives in Sumi, okay, and they have so he was 68 and she's 30, right? So it's a 38-year age gap. Yeah, 38-year. And they've been married happily now for 5 years. She has a 10-year-old boy, 1 child. And I've watched them interact. She's like crazy over him. And she's crazy jealous as well. That's one of their challenge that he shared with me, you know. So anything's possible. And if you add, you know, in this single mom realm, if a guy is really picky, we'll say, like some people that I know on the live stream right now, they really have a high bar, you know, they really want a high beauty level in the woman, or they're just not turned on by her. Okay, then single moms is your best option. But, you know, if you don't want that, I mean, if you don't want to be a dad again, then of course that's not an option for you. But I'm speaking again in this live stream to dads wanted. So what I'm saying for guys, the great silver lining for men here watching this live stream is that if you want to be a dad, if you are a dad's wanted candidate, right, you're looking to be a dad in Ukraine, then the Ukrainian oyster, yeah, is your world. Yeah, you have crazy plethora of choice, okay, when it comes to single moms in Ukraine. You can find a model, I would even say. I mean, okay, the higher the bar, the higher the requirements, the longer it might take you, right? Remember, I didn't just come to Ukraine and find Anna, right? I had to pay my dues, learn the lessons the hard way. I'm a little bit thick-headed, okay? I'm really thick-headed. About that thick is my head. I've been told. So unfortunately, I don't often learn the easy way. All right. So, I might be getting myself in the doghouse here. Honey, you know what perspective I have. We've had this conversation before, my love. Well, Squeaky Queen, you're not exactly right here either. No, the truth is, okay, I mean, you know, I got to be careful with what I just said because now I'm going to delude you guys into believing something that's also not true. What Squeaky Clean is absolutely not true, what you're saying. It's only an issue in Western culture. The average age gap in Ukraine is 7 years, but most marriages are pretty close within a couple, 2-3 years. Okay. So it's not true. Anna and I get looks on the street all the time for our age gap. We get looked at funny in Ukraine. Yes, if I go to Canada, we're going to look at more. There's going to be more, social persecution. So I'm just talking about single moms and the fact that there is a plethora of them. There's a lot of single moms and they just can't find a good man, because the truth about Ukrainian culture is that Ukrainian men do not want to be burdened, as I've had so many of them tell me. Personally, I used to hang out in a banya. I used to go to banya and sumi every Saturday pretty much for a year. And it was 10, 12, 15 naked guys with piva, vodka, sala, and fish. And you can imagine the rest. I got into their head. I heard the ugly part, okay, of what they do in their spare time, et cetera, et cetera. So, okay, honey. I said I didn't have such a belief. Oh, okay, I know what you mean. Yeah. Okay, sorry, sweetie. So what my beautiful queen meant is that Anna didn't have this belief, this self-limiting belief that just because she has 2 kids, she's going to have a hard time or an impossible time, like impossible, like Galina told me. And what happened for Anna? She met me and we're happily married. So you see, we were talking about self-limiting beliefs yesterday, right? And how hypnotherapy is a powerful tool to help you overcome self-limiting beliefs. And Anna didn't have those self-limiting beliefs, and it happened for her. You know, she met me. So it's proof in the pudding, right? Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. You're too kind, Skid Row. I owe you. I owe you something there. Thank you. Yes, it's important to be aware and improve your beliefs, or overcoming your negative self-limiting beliefs. I completely agree. I mean, that's another thing that Anna, we vibrate on the same frequency. If you guys study or believe in vibrational frequencies, but as an engineer, of course, I know every material on planet Earth has a vibrational frequency. In fact, they have what's called a resonance frequency, or a natural resonance frequency. And if I touch this cup right now and I was vibrating, let's say my finger or another object, let's say, if I could put this at whatever hertz is the natural resonance frequency of this glass. Okay, if I could put this at that, I would touch this glass and this glass would explode, would literally blow up, because a material cannot exist at its natural harmonic frequency. But yet this can exist at the glass's natural harmonic frequency. You know, do you understand what I'm saying? I hope that makes sense. This can exist at the natural harmonic frequency of this, but this can't exist at its own natural harmonic frequency. I'm just saying, guys. Okay, I wasn't planning on going here, but what I'm saying is that there's a lot more to life than, you know, our 5 senses realize. And I think, I mean, one of the reasons Anna and I got on so well, and I mean, we know it to be true. You guys might think we're talking about fairy dust here. That's your choice. You know, if you don't believe this, that's your choice. I think if you looked into it, and if you studied it, you would believe it, because it's true. But Anna and I, we actually have a natural vibration very close to each other. So when we met each other, there was a really karmic attraction. I mean, she felt it, I felt it. I mean, it really was karmic. I mean, she never gets into a taxi with a strange man, but she got into my taxi. And we just like started talking, and it was just like, ooh. So who better to do a hypnotherapy, how to attract your soulmate? Because she did it. She really did attract me, and I attracted her. Okay. Our age gap is 20 years. I'm 56. Anna is, should never say a woman's age, but you guys can do the math. Otherwise I'm going to get in trouble. Frequently. Okay. Let's see. What does Donald have to say? Cool. Okay. So where was I? That I met Anna in the taxi right in front of Ocean Plaza Mall. There was a bomb threat, and I asked her what's going on here, because the police didn't speak English, and that's how we met. She got in my taxi, which she never does, and the rest is history. It was a real karmic connection. and it was kind of coming out of something, okay, and not in an ideal place. And I also was coming out of something. I was not in an ideal place, so we didn't really meet at an ideal time. So we didn't really, yeah, I didn't pursue her very hard, which I otherwise would have. But I was coming out of something, and what I was coming out of was a relationship that was just doomed. And why was it doomed? We had a 22-year age gap, but that wasn't the issue. The issue was that a number of issues, but I can say the children, we didn't have the spiritual connection that I really needed, and she always believed that the children should be on top and they should kind of rule our life. And, I don't go for that. Like I said, the pyramid that Anna and I have in our family is God, me, Anna, children. The children are underneath us. And she would always put the children first, to the point that if a child was speaking, you couldn't even speak. I mean, they could even interrupt you and stuff like that. I wasn't raised like that. And just yeah, the personalities didn't jive. The personalities didn't jive. So yeah. Okay. I I I made a mistake on that particular relationship, and I made a mistake in other relationships as well. That I said I was going to be vulnerable and share with you. So I wrote down some mistakes. So my top three big mistakes, right? Um, Number one, yeah. So if you, again, Dads Wanted is the title of this video, and if you want to be a dad in Ukraine, whether it be you're okay with having a single mom and being a father of her children, or if you want to have your own children. If you want to have your own children and you're 50 plus, I'm here to tell you guys, it's a tall bar. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's a really tall bar. Okay. So the lady does the math. You're 50, by the time the kid's graduating school, you're a senior citizen. So, who's going to take care of the family? Who's going to be the provider? And who's going to be the father figure? The children are going to lose their father, maybe, by the time before they enter college. And that's hard for them. So why should they? Why would they have a child with a 50-plus-year-old man? Let alone older, So I'm just saying, okay, I want you guys to go for your dreams. In Ukraine, your dreams are possible, is what I'm saying. Ukraine is dreamland, but you still have to understand where are the boundaries. And I'm trying to help you through my experience of being just really real with you, where the boundaries lie, because I had to feel out the boundaries, because I'm hard-headed. So where was I? About, help me out, guys. Help me out. Where was I? I'm losing point. Help me out. Somebody write me in chat. Oh yeah, yeah. Put pressure on her. So the mistake that I think I'm not alone in this regard is that when it's a really big life goal for you, as it was for me, it was really my only last dream in life. I wanted to be a father, and to be a father of somebody else's child, no problem. Excuse me, no problem for me whatsoever. I love our daughters like I would love my own, and I know that to my core. Doesn't make any difference. Although it is the concern of ladies, right? It is one of the concerns of ladies. So you guys should know that too, and be ready to take care of that. So Donald also learned the hard way. Thank you for sharing in my pain, Donald. Yeah. So it's always about the children, and if you don't to put them first, you will be miserable. Okay. Yeah. So thanks for sharing your experience as well, Donald. So yeah, back to, if it's such a big dream and life goal of yours, we tend to be overzealous about it, and put the pressure on. And I did that. I made this mistake. This was a big mistake. And you know, they feel that pressure and they start to feel like, okay, what does he want? Does he want me or does he want my baby? Like, and they start to feel unloved, like they're just a baby machine, if you put the pressure on. Okay. And that's really not good. That's a relationship killer right there. Um, it needs to happen naturally after they love you. If a woman loves you, you know, hopefully she wants to make your dreams come true. And as long as that dream is not too far out of la la land, too far out into fantasy land, because there is a breaking point for me too, of course, right? For everyone, there's a breaking point. Everything in life has its limitations. But that's your best bet, is to, and I'm speaking to you experientially from this. If you really want to have your own child, don't push her. Wait until the relationship blossoms. Treat her like the princess she is. Make her happy. Win over the parents. Do all of those right things, meet the friends, immerse yourself into the family. And then if all of that goes well, she will most likely, is what I'm saying to you, she will most likely want to have a child with you because she's in love with you. Ukrainian women are incredible. They are incredible at maintaining that family, wanting to keep the family, and doing everything to keep that family strong, because it really is a family values culture. Everything is around the family. That's why from the 31st of December to the 10th of January, the country grinds to a halt. There's no commerce almost. Nobody wants to work. Nobody does work because they're enjoying the family and the friends of it. It's really a precious, sacred time in Ukraine. And I'm sorry to say that, in my opinion, our culture, that family or social, that family fabric, it's dissolved. I don't even see it there. I mean, that fabric is just floating around. It's not stitched together anymore like it used to be. It's still stitched together in Ukraine. Okay. So never chase a girl. So okay, let's start going through. As you guys, please ask me more questions. My rules, my golden rules, my 7 golden rules is what I came up with. Let's start going through them. Okay, again, rule number 1: don't settle. It is the golden rule. If you do it, trust me, you will live to regret it. Don't settle. You're a lion. You're a man. You can't settle. You can't resort to a life of a vegan diet, of vegetables when you're a carnivore. Okay. Rule number 2: know what you want. Write it down. It makes it really powerful. It's in The Secret, why you should write down your goals. Know what you want, and stick to it. Stick to it. Don't settle. Rule number 1 and 2 are powerfully connected. Okay. And I teach these principles in my matchmaking with my clients. John Francis will attest to it. He's watching me live. I'm sure there's some other clients live now too. Rule number 3, I'm just going to kind of quickly go through the ones that we've already talked about. Look for the telltale signs. What are her relationship with like with her parents? Is she still married? Shit test. Number 4. That's how you fast track getting to know somebody. Number 5 is get to know her well before the marriage. I didn't talk about this one. Minimum 1 year, guys, especially if you're getting to know her long distance. Minimum a year. Listen, people always show their true colors in time. But the problem is, if you shortcut that process of getting to know her and no shit testing, because it's hard to shit test in distance. That usually backfires in your face. I mean, you got to be careful shit testing. Yeah, don't shortcut the process of getting to know them. Okay, that's how these really hard scams happen, where she goes to America and she green card scams you and she's gone 2 weeks after getting her green card. You don't want to be one of those guys. You don't, right? Meet her friends as soon as possible. They have an expression in Russia and Ukraine: show me who are your friends and I show you who you are. And it's very true in life. You know how true it is. They've studied this. And even if you take, for example, think of your top 5, I'm not going to say friends, but I'm going to say the top 5 people, think of it, that you spend the most time with every week, every month. Think of those. Write down their name. This is a cool exercise. Write down their name, write down their income, their annual income, divide it by 5, and that's your income. Plus or minus 10, 20%. Scary, but true. Show me who your friends are, or show you who you are. And of course, it's true for financial, it's true for integrity level, it's true for quality of the human being. And for Anna, I can say, wow, her friends are all incredible people. Her parents, incredible. I'm so blessed to have the best in-laws, I swear, on the planet. Her brother, amazing. He's the only person I know that pays his taxes in Ukraine, like all of his taxes. I mean, that just speaks to his integrity level. Yeah, it's really true. And you do well to get to know her friends. Okay. Number 7 is, meet the parents as soon as you can. Meet the parents. As I said earlier, if you can't win over the parents, you're done. You are done. In that relationship with the 28-year age gap, she would never let me meet her mother. Even her mother came to like our city quite a few times, and I couldn't even meet, even I pushed for it. I really pushed for it. I mean, I should have known, right? I should have known. If I was wiser, I would have known. Yeah. I mean, if the parent doesn't even want to meet you, that relationship is a catch and release. It's on a time clock. And I eventually caught on. Took me a few months more, but yeah, I kid you not. If the parents are not into you, if they don't believe in your relationship, if they don't like you, any of those things, do yourself a favor, move on. I'm not saying don't do everything to win them over. Do everything to win them over, but do it sooner than later, because it is a big telltale. The article on people to become for sure. Circle of people. Yep. Donald, thank you. Frank, bottom line. If you want to date, check out Ukraine, see what happens, learn a few words. Okay, yeah, not bad advice there, Frank. If I don't settle, I'm going to throw. So if I don't settle, it means being alone. Yeah, I understand. I mean, or it means being successful, right? I mean, I don't know, Jean-Francis. To be honest, I find you very negative, really. As a friend and as a client, please, I'm imploring you to do Anna's hypnotherapy for 40 days. Because I'm going to say to you, you have a lot of negative, self-limiting beliefs that you don't even see. I mean, if you trust us, ask Anna the same thing. She will answer as I've answered. We've talked about it. Okay. So my heart's heavy-hearted for you. I want you to be successful. I'm just saying, it seems like a bit of a rock and a hard place, because if you settle, you're going to eventually be unhappy. You can be unhappy. But if you don't settle, you're going to be single. So, but that is your self-limiting belief right there, because you forgot being successful, right? Why you didn't include that in the equation? You said, I'm either going to be unhappy or I'm going to be alone. You know, I mean, or I'm either going to settle, you said, or I'm going to be alone. No, there's another option, and that is meeting your wow woman and being happy and not giving up until you do, right? Just have to put in the change your belief system, because if you don't believe in yourself, it literally can't happen. I saw hey honey, if you're still watching, maybe you could put some up that I'm missing. Okay, Lauren, you've told me before that $1,300 is like $3,000. Yeah, absolutely, even more than 3,000, depending on the city in Ukraine you're going to live. It's 4-to-1 or 5-to-1. Okay, comparing America to Ukraine, depending on where you live in America and where in Ukraine you're comparing to. No, Lauren, you can live in Ukraine. Of course, I know you. You're a client. You can live in Ukraine on $1,300 a month. I wouldn't suggest Kiev, but you can live in Kiev for $1,300. But if you move to, for example, Sumy, you can live very well, and you can find a lady that will be happy with that. And I know that's a fixed income for you that you will get into your bank account every month, right? So you don't have to work for that. So anything else you do on top of that, because you need to have a purpose to attract any woman. You know, you need to be busy. You need to be doing something. You need to be fulfilled. Again, the biggest attraction for a woman is a man that's purpose driven. Okay, it's above charisma. Humor, charisma, and purpose driven. It's the three powerful top attraction factors for any woman, and especially in Ukraine. So yeah, you can come here, Lauren, and make a woman happy at that income level. Absolutely, because you're about 60, right? I don't remember your exact age, but you're about 60. Okay, my honey is in here commenting. Okay, there's a cost of living. Yeah, so you can see Anna's talking about. Yeah, Numbeo is a great website. It's a great tip for you guys. It's compare. You can do a city comparison, and you compare the cost of living from your city where you're at, Lauren, to whatever city in Ukraine, like Odessa. Odessa's in there. Kiev, I'm not sure if Sumy is. Hey, Porky's back. Porky, sleeping in. Get out of bed, you know? People die in bed. Come on now. So, okay, mgtow. Let's get into mgtow. I've been wanting to do a separate live. How long have we been going? 1 hour and 43. I knew this was going to be a long one, but I just want to say, I want to speak to the mgtowers out there. What is mgtow? It stands for men that go their own way, right? And listen, I'm not going to beat up on them so much as I'm going to say, mgtowers, you're not aware of another world that exists for you, that you would be happy. That's my main point to mgtowers. So, I mean, basically, it's an anti-feminist, misogynistic movement of men. They're now well over 100,000 strong, and they advocate separation from women and, from society for that matter, which they believe has been corrupted, even destroyed by feminazis, feminists, as they call them. But I say that their assumption about women, that all single moms are created equal, that's their fundamental flaw. It's the nail in their coffin that makes their organization one gigantic excuse for being a failure, because they're all failures. mgtowers, sorry, you're failure. You're a failure in your world, okay? And I'm not saying, I'm a failure in my world, okay? There you go. Because I was not happy in my world. I couldn't realize my one last dream, big dream in this life, and that's to be a dad. Dads are wanted in Ukraine. I'm saying, mgtower, I'm not ragging on you. I'm saying you don't know what you don't know. Have you heard the expression, pigs don't know, pigs stink? You don't know what are Ukrainian single moms. And you're painting the whole world with a broad brush, and that's dangerous. I'm saying come to Ukraine, date single moms. You will see that they are a different breed of single moms. So all of those negatives, you guys that might be inclined to have some mgtow belief systems, it's a negative, toxic belief system. And they're not going to be happy. They're not going to meet their soulmate because they have a toxic belief system. That's my message. That's it. I'm not going to rag on them anymore. So Canadian entrepreneur, matchmaking socials planned for the summer. I intend to come, stay. Listen, we'll see. COVID force majeure dependent. We do have a grand ball event, but very hard to organize with. We'll see how Omicron, if it burns itself out, hopefully it burns itself out. That's what some of the experts are saying, and just becomes, back to the common flu and cold, real man needs a good woman. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks, Info Seeker. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Yep. Thank you for the support, guys. So, okay. Getting close to wrapping up here. My 7 points, my mistakes. I guess I want to say this, guys. Okay, dads wanted, right? The topic of today. And I've been raw and real sharing with you my fuck ups, how I finally was successful at getting my dream, because I'm happier than a pig in poo-poo. I really am. It's my dream come true. I showed you a family video. I think you get that. I've invited you into our home for 7 hours on Christmas Day, and I think about 3 hours on New Year's Eve. So you got to see my whole family, my in-laws, even some friends, even a client, So the next question is how, So let's get raw and real. Ask yourself, please, this is for you. I'm trying to help facilitate you making your dreams come true now in this next part. Ask yourself, why is it that you do not have the life you desire and you deserve? Ask yourself, please, that question right now. Ask yourself. You don't have to tell me. You can if you want, but more as an internal, self-probing question. Could the answer be your fears? Could it be your fears? I shared yesterday my favorite acronyms for fear. I have 2 of them. Future event appearing real. If you think about it, isn't it crazy? We're afraid of something that hasn't happened. Think of any fear that you have. It's a future event. You're afraid of something that hasn't happened. Isn't that a little kooky? Really? If you're a Christian, brother, you know where fear comes from. It comes from the evil one. It's his way of taking us off course. God wants you to be with your soulmate. He wants you to be with a woman that makes you synergistically better than yourself, because your right soulmate, like Anna, I'm not half the man that I am without my Anna. Okay, she has made me better in so many different ways. Okay. 1 + 1 = 11 when you're with your soulmate. And I wish that for all of you guys. And at the same time, you got to ask yourself, how? Why and how? Those are the important questions and answers that you have to answer for yourself. The other acronym for fear is future event appearing real and false. No. What is it? Okay, it'll come to me in a second. Okay. False? Okay, can't think of it right now. So how powerful is your subconscious mind. Let's take a quick look at this. This is kind of what we talked about yesterday, but it's really powerful if you want to attract your soulmate, if you want to change your life in 2022. Let's talk about it. Your subconscious mind, okay, is the problem. Thank you. False evidence. Thank you, Eric. False evidence appearing real. It's false. If it's a fear, it's false. It's not true. So it's a future event and it's false. It's a false event. It's not true. It's not true. Think of it. It's not true. Okay? It's a false event. Again, appearing real. It's not real. It's not real and it's not true. It's a fear. Okay? Yeah. Anyway, so what do I want to say to you? Yeah, your fears box you in, and this is your life if you let your fears control you. So let's take a look at your subconscious mind. Did you know that up to 95% of your thoughts, your beliefs, okay, your actions are automatically controlled by your subconscious mind? It's crazy, guys. Okay, it's crazy. It's like the software that controls your life. Okay, that's your subconscious. Okay, I love this elephant and the rider example. Okay, it's like the elephant is your subconscious mind. Okay, and that elephant weighs 2 tons. If it wants to go to the north and you want to go to the south, which way are you going to go? To the north, because that elephant's bigger than you. You are your conscious mind, your verbal thinking brain. Okay, that's the analogy. And you want to be able to tell that elephant or your subconscious mind, hey, listen to me. I'm in charge. But guess what? You're not in charge. So how can we do this? So this is a notepad that is from a course I took many moons ago. Okay, self-limiting beliefs. I'm not worth it. Okay, I'm not worth it. I don't deserve it. You know, I'm too scared to try, right? I'm not smart enough. I'm not. There's well over 100 self-limiting beliefs, guys. And the problem is, this is what they do to our life if we don't get a grip. And you don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be that guy. So all of that is in the amygdala part of your brain, okay? The part of the subconscious mind, the amygdala or the Neanderthal brain. It's like that big. It's like that big, the tip of my pinky. But it's the cause of why you are not happy in your life, why you're not living the life you desire and you deserve. It's because of that amygdala. So you got to get a grip if you're going to change it, okay? Its purpose, that amygdala, that part of the brain, its purpose is to keep you safe. That's its only purpose. That's where fear comes from. It comes from your Neanderthal brain. So, do you know one of the most powerful, proven ways you can overcome your fears and get that life that you deserve, that you want so badly, but you don't know how to get it? I mean, as Albert said, what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and over, but expecting a different result. Yet how many of us do that every day, week, year, decade? Okay, I know guys that have been coming to Ukraine for over a fucking decade, and they keep doing the same thing, going to the same fucking PPL sites, getting scammed. Shit, come on. Sorry if I gotta drop the F-bomb to wake you guys up. Some of you guys, okay? Guess what? Hypnotherapy is one of the most powerful, simple tools to start you on this journey of changing or reprogramming your belief system, okay? Because this is how we all work. We have a belief, okay? And that belief causes us to take a certain action, and that action delivers the result. Okay, that's the way we all work, whether you like it or not. Okay, so hypnotherapy, it uses a relaxation technique, many techniques actually, uses imagery, the power of neuro-linguistic programming or NLP, suggestion, power of suggestion. It manifests feelings. You actually produce feelings when you're doing it. You will feel certain feelings when you're doing Anna's hypnotherapy, how to attract your soulmate. You'll create feelings. You'll see. Do it. You'll see. It uses theta waves. Theta, alpha, and gamma waves penetrate into the subconscious mind. Okay, it uses that, and it has it in Anna's. So it uses these frequencies that help basically reprogram your subconscious. Okay, I mean, hypnotherapy, it changes the way you think while you sleep. It changes your deep subconscious beliefs towards the positive, the healthy realization in the direction you want to go to improve your life, to get what you finally desire and deserve. However, the caveat, hypnotherapy is not a magic wand. Ding. It's not going to be super simple. I've used hypnotherapy for over 10 years. I think pushing 15 years, okay, to change a lot in me that I wasn't happy with, okay? It won't happen overnight. Listening to hypnotherapy, it's kind of like going to the gym, right? If you want Arnold's biceps or whoever, you've got to pump that iron, right? So you've got to do it the first time, the first course, 40 nights as you fall asleep. And then you can give yourself a break, or you can just go into another course. I mean, I just went into one course, another. And again, I said yesterday, I paid, I don't even want to say how much, because you guys are going to call me an idiot. How much I've paid, okay, to change this, to change, to understand where my negative thinking, as Norman Vincent Peale calls it, but to change my negative self-limiting beliefs, okay? And guess what? That was one of the big attractions that Anna has to me, is because we talked about these things. We on the same vibe, the same vibrational frequency. Study, Google human vibrational frequencies and study it, guys. It's not fairy. I'm an engineer. I'm a scientist. If there's no scientific merit to something, I don't believe it. I look at the science, and I could talk for hours. I could dive into that, but we're already pushing, 2 hours. So yeah, I'm just saying, guys, listen, you have to ask yourself, are you sick and tired of getting what you've always gotten? Mediocrity in your life, okay? Missing out on life, having life pass you by, being lonely. Guess what? Loneliness is a fucking pandemic. Now it's a double pandemic. But 1 out of 10 people are thinking of offing themselves at Christmas season. Yeah, that's nasty. If you're tired of that, then Anna's hypnotherapy, which is called hypnotherapy to attract your soulmate, it's in the description below. Or you can go to YouTube and just type in the search bar, Anna 7 hypnotherapy, and it will come back. What do you guys have to lose? Jean-Francis, I'm talking to you. What do you have to lose? I'm your friend, but a little bit more tough love. Okay? Definition of insanity. Do something different, my friend. Please do something different. Okay, I'm just going to look at your questions now, and then we're going to end this 2-hour live stream. So Anna's been commenting in here. Thank you, honey. Taking care of it. Again, I don't want to... You're still trying to find something that'll work for you. Well, Jean-Francis, statistically, hypnotherapy is proven. If you look into the science of it, look into the results, you will find it. It's true. It works. Better yet, you have a tool. It's free. It's on the table in front of you. You've got it. You've got the link. You've got everything. Again, your negative self-limiting belief won't let you believe that hypnotherapy will work for you. So guess what? Right now, it won't work for you. It will not work for you because you don't believe it. So you see, this is the catch-22. This is irony in play. Exactly. Yeah. Anybody can be a sperm donor. Sperm doesn't make a father, right? yeah, so subscribe to Anna 7 Hypnotherapy. The link is in the description below. And guys, I hope you get where I'm coming from. I hope that you understand where my heart's at, that I want you guys to be successful. Otherwise, why would I be airing kind of like my laundry? And I had to ask for my wife's blessing to do this. And I thank you, my darling, for talking about my past and even sharing it with the world, because it's something that's really anti-cultural in Ukraine. And, it's another testament to my wife's high level of human development, that she's allowing me to talk about my exes publicly, okay? Because she wants me to be able to help you guys, and she wants to help you guys. We both do. And try that with another. Woman in Ukraine. Find another woman that will let you do that, and I'll eat my dirty shorts, as we say in the prairies. Okay, guys. So what do I want to say to you in closing? Here's Anna's hypnotherapy. Here's just a short sample of it. I'll be back in 10 seconds.
Straight out of university with a $40,000.
Oh, that's not it. This is it.
Mutual, gender feelings, happy relationship. We are all born into this world to experience joy and love. Happy relationship. This guided hypnotherapy will help you to attract real, sincere love. The partner that fits you in the best way possible. A woman sent to you from above. Your true love, your soulmate, is out there waiting for you. By doing this practice, you will tune into high vibrations of love, activate energies that will attract happiness and harmony into your life. Lay down, close your eyes, and relax.
Oh, I was almost passing out there. Isn't Anna's voice so hypnotic and relaxing? Okay, guys, one last thing. As our new marketing strategy, we're giving away a $10,000 product to one of you lucky SOBs every month. We have a winner of our $10,000 lifetime matchmaking package, unlimited dating, unlimited full team support, with no limit until you get hitched to one of our ladies. That is a draw that we do at the last Saturday of every month. This is what it looks like here. And after the commercial, that'll be it. I'll say goodbye for now, guys, and we'll see you next weekend.
Imagine meeting as many beautiful traditional ladies as it takes until you meet the one. That's exactly what you can win right now. Just comment, subscribe, and share. The winner will be announced live right here.